Good day, beautiful people of our digital world. My name is Brian Steele, and I have the privilege of being the pastor at St. Paul United Methodist Church in Bloomfield Hills and Hazel Park United Methodist Church. Let's talk about the gift of grief. Those words shouldn't go together, at least that's what we're told in our culture. Gift of grief. Grief isn't something that we want to be wrapped up with a nice little bow and put under the tree or handed to us on our birthday. But today I want us to invite us to look at grief from another vantage point. Grief as a way to enlarge the soul. Should we be courageous enough to walk toward that grief? Friends, grief is throughout all of the Bible, even with some of the people we consider the biggest Bible heroes, quote unquote. King David, Mary, Jesus himself, all grieved in different ways. Because grief is a way of entrusting our humanity to Jesus. And since the core of the Christian faith, almost, across all various theologies, the core of a Christian faith is that Jesus became fully human and was fully God. Fully human, fully God. That means that in being fully human, Jesus understands our human experience of grief. And here's how grief transforms us, enlarges us. I want to take us back to our childhood, for at least a lot of us. Going to Sesame Street. In the early years of Sesame Street, there was this character called Mr. Hooper, who would run the local store on Sesame Street and was just loved by everybody. A neighborhood staple. Well, sadly, the actor who played Mr. Hooper passed away. And as the producers, writers, directors of Sesame Street got together to talk about how they were going to handle this, they decided that they couldn't recast Mr. Hooper. Nor could they pretend to say that, well, Mr. Hooper just moved away, or, oh, we're just not going to talk about him anymore. They told the truth on a children's television show that Mr. Hooper had died. And if you want to check out this really powerful scene, I'm actually going to put a link to it in the comments of this video, so feel free to pause this and then go check out that video. Because what we see in this really remarkable clip of television is a community who is willing to grieve together, who talked about the reality of death, and we see people growing in love because of it. When we are willing to grieve, which Jesus himself instructs us to do, blessed are those who mourn, the result is that our hearts enlarge. The grief doesn't evaporate. The grief doesn't go away. It will always be a part of our story. But the heart can enlarge around it. And friends, we grieve because we love. And as people of faith, love is our ultimate calling. Like, if we don't love, we can't claim to be disciples of Christ. Love is at the core of everything. We can't be faithful without love. And the reality is, when we make the decision to love, to commit ourselves to a relationship, we are also going to experience, at some point, love and grief because of that. And I think it's important to note that grief takes a lot of different forms. It's not just losing people to death. All types of grief, all losses, no matter what they may be, are valid before God. We don't have to play the grief Olympics, measuring whose grief is worth more than another. A child might grieve losing their favorite toy. You can grieve losing a parent or friend. Grief in all those various forms or degrees are welcome in the arms of Jesus. So friends, whatever grief has taken you, or whatever loss you may have experienced, have the courage to bring that into your faith. Don't disregard it. And find people who you can do that together with in a healthy and safe way for you. Because together, our souls and hearts can grow because of how we grieve. Our losses matter, and our losses also help us grow. So that's it for today's 5-minute message, friends. We'll see you next week. Go in peace.